Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do this. Now I'm from Scotland and this is called the thistle stitch because the way it works, it looks like a thistle and that's the stalk of a thistle. It's really pretty. I don't know why I've never done this stitch before. It's a really simple stitch and I've done it in this pretty sort of lilac-y blue colour, and you can do this in any yarn that you like, and look how it comes out really pretty. It's got these really nice ridges in it. It's a nice textured stitch as well, and it's really pretty. Look at it, it's nice and lacy. It'd be lovely for shawls, for scarves, blankets, especially in the summer. It's a nice light stitch as well. Now I've used a UK 5mm crochet hook for this, but please feel free to experiment with stitches and different size hooks. If you have a small stitch and you're using a small hook, if you use a larger hook, experiment, use a larger hook, you'll get a much more open pattern. Now, if I did this with a 6.5 or a 7, it would be a beautiful lacy pattern. It's really pretty. Now, I think this would make, if you are one of those people who likes Outlander, this would be a really pretty stitch to make a shawl in as well. So I'm going to show you how to do it. It's called the thistle stitch. It works on sets of 7 stitches and then you add an extra 2. So whatever size blanket you want, do it in sets of 7 and then add an extra 2 stitches at the end of your chain. So I'm going to show you how to do this thistle stitch. I'm going to start with a slip knot. So just wrap your yarn around your finger like this. You've got your tail end here. Put your hook under that one and pull this one through. Then take your fingers out and just pull it up onto your hook. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do our pattern in sets of 7 stitches. So you need to do sets of 7. Do it as wide as you want your blanket to be, or your scarf, whatever. Do it in sets of 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Don't do your stitches too tight and don't count the one on your hook. You only count the ones that you've made. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to do my chain in sets of 7s. So I've done my chain in sets of 7s for my little sample that I'm going to show you how to do. You're going to do an extra 2 stitches, 1 and 2, an extra 2. That helps to make your first stitch. We're going to do UK treble crochets. If you're in another country, this might be double crochets for you. Some of the countries have different terms for this stitch. We're going to go into the 4th stitch in the chain, so count 1, 2, 3 and 4. Do not count the one on the hook, that's just a loop. So yarn over and go into that 4th stitch and do a treble crochet. So those stitches that we skipped become a treble crochet. So you have 1 and you have 2. We're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. Now into this 3rd stitch, you're going to do a fan. The fan has 5 treble crochets all into that 1 stitch. So we're going to put 5 treble crochets into this stitch and create a fan. Some people will call these a shell. It's up to you whether you call it a shell or if you call it a fan. So that's 1. Now into the same stitch, that's 2. Same stitch again, that's 3. Another one is 4. And then 5. Now when you put that many stitches into one stitch, it makes the one beside it deformed, it squashes it around. So when you count your skip 2, make sure you count that stitch. Don't go here and count 1, 2. So just pull your stitches over, and that's your next stitch there. So 1, 2. Now into the next stitch, into the third stitch, put a treble crochet. 1 treble crochet. Then 1 treble crochet into the stitch next to it. And that's your pattern beginning to form. That's what you'll do all the way to the end. You'll skip 2, make a fan, skip 2, then you'll do 1 treble crochet and 1 treble crochet, skip 2 and make a fan all the way to the end. So we're going to skip 2 stitches, that's 1, 2, and we're going to do a fan into that third stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's 5 treble crochets. Remember, pull it over a little bit and skip 2, 1, 2. Then you're going to put a treble crochet in that stitch and a treble crochet in the next stitch. So skip 2, 1, 2, and into the third stitch, do a treble crochet and a treble crochet into the next stitch. And that's the way your pattern forms. We're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and do a fan into the third stitch all the way to the end, and you should finish on 2 single treble crochets. So I've done my last fan. I'm going to skip 2, 1, 2, and into my last 2 stitches I'm going to put 1 treble crochet into each of these stitches. That's 1 and 1 into that last stitch. Just pull through. And that's what your pattern looks like. You've got 2 treble crochets, skip 2, your fan, skip 2, 2 treble crochets, skip 2, and then that fan with 5 treble crochets in it. All the way to the end, you should have a fan, then skip 2 and 2 treble crochets on the end. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work like this. Now to stagger the fans, you always have a half a fan on your next row. So what we're going to do is that is going to count as 1 treble crochet. 2 treble crochets into the stitch, and that'll make a half a fan. So that's 1 and 2. So that makes a half a fan and allows you to stagger the little thistle parts of this pattern. We're going to build our next one in here. So what you're going to do now is you're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Now into the space between, in your fan, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. So when you get to the fan, you're going to skip 2, 1 and 2, and in there, that's 3 stitches on the top, you're skipping 1, 2, 3. Into the space, you're going to do a treble crochet. You're going to skip 1 stitch, and into the next space, you're going to do a treble crochet. Into the space, not into the top of a stitch. So you're going to move over 1, 2, 3, and into the space where these 2 treble crochets are, you're going to make a fan. You're going to skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, and into the chain space, you're going to build your fan. So that's 5 treble crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into that chain space, do 1 treble crochet. Into the next chain space in the fan, into the next one, you'll do a treble crochet. You're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Now into the space, you're going to make a fan in there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you'll skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the space. So on the fan, you're skipping the first 2 stitches, and into the space, you'll do a treble crochet, and then into the next space. We're going in the space, not the stitch, we're going in the space. Another treble crochet. We'll move over to the middle of here, these 2 stitches. So you're skipping 3 and do a fan. Put 5 treble crochets in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. That takes you into almost the middle of the fan. So you're skipping 2 treble crochets and put 1 into the space, 1 treble, and then into the next space you do 1 treble crochet. And this is what your pattern looks like. It's staggering the fan over those ones. It's really pretty, this. So you're going to go over to the 2 treble crochets and put a fan in there. Now you're going to go to the top of that chain and you're going to put 3. So you're going to go over to here, and into this space you're going to put 3 treble crochets into the space between those 2 treble crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. You're making a half a fan. So you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. You're going to turn your work. So what you have to remember, the 2 rows to repeat is the one where you start with 3 and the one where you only have 2. So into this chain space here, you're going to put a treble crochet. And that gives you your 2 on the end. And these are the 2 rows you'll keep repeating. The one where you start with the half a fan and the one where you have 2. So in between these 2 treble crochets, we're going to make a fan. Every time you've got 2 treble crochets like this, you'll be putting a fan in. So we're going to put a fan in. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to skip 3. We're just going to repeat this bottom row. 1, 2, 3. Skip 3 stitches. So you're going to skip the 2 of this. This is the fan, and you'll skip those first 2 and put a treble crochet in there. You go to the next space and put a treble crochet in there. You're going to go over to these 2, put a fan in, then on the fan you'll skip the first 2 stitches here, you'll put a treble crochet into this one and a treble crochet into the next space. You'll move over to these 2 and you'll put a fan in. You'll move to the next fan, skip that one and that one, and you'll put a treble crochet in there and a treble crochet into the next one. Move over and make a fan in between these 2, and on the next fan skip that stitch and skip that stitch, and into that space put a treble crochet, and into that space put a treble crochet. So when you're at the end, you're going to put your 2 treble crochets into this last stitch here. So put 1 into there and another one. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3 and turn. And we're going to repeat the row here where you had 3 and then a fan. So we've got 1, so remember it'll be 2 treble crochets, then 3 on the next row will have 2, then it'll be 3, then 2, then 3, and that should keep your pattern correct. So down into that stitch you're going to put 2 treble crochets, and that's going to make a half a fan. You're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Now go in between the trebles and put 1 treble crochet. Go into the next one, the next space, and do 1 treble crochet. You're going to skip over to the 2 trebles that are on their own. So skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and go into the space and build your fan. And you're going to do that all the way along, and that's the 2 rows that you'll keep repeating. So skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the space do a treble crochet. Now you're going into the space, then into the next space and do a treble crochet, and that gives you your 2s. So you've got a fan and then 2, then over to here you'll have a fan, and then you'll have 2 on this fan, then do a fan inside these 2 trebles, skip 3, do a treble crochet into the spaces, and then you're going to put 3 treble crochets on the end. So I'm going to work along to the end and I'll show you what to do next. So I've done my pattern along the top, got my 2 on top of the fan and the fan inside those 2 stitches. So at the end here we've got our 2 trebles. I'm going to put 3 treble crochets in at the end. That makes our half a fan. Keeps the pattern correct. 1, 2 and 3. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work, and into that space, or that into the space, you're going to do a treble crochet. It kind of going into the space splits these two up a little bit, keeps the pattern looking nice. Then you'll go straight over. Anytime you've got 2 trebles like this, you do a fan. You'll skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the space of the fan, you'll do a treble crochet, and into the next space, you'll do a treble crochet. Then you'll move over to your 2 pillars, these 2 here, make your fan, skip 3 stitches, but into the space do 1 treble crochet and 1 treble crochet all the way to the end, and you've got 3 here, so into this space you'll just put 2 treble crochets into that space, and that is the 2 rows that you'll keep repeating. You'll get this beautiful, beautiful pattern like this. It is so pretty, it really is. And you'll get this really pretty pattern that looks like a thistle. It's really nice. And if you use heathery colours, like different shades of greens and blues and lilacs, it will be really pretty, especially if you are into the Scottish theme. It's a beautiful stitch. It's a beautiful stitch to make any blankets and scarves and shawls with. Please subscribe to the channel, help me get up to 1 million subscribers. I'm nearly at 250,000, so I've only got a few thousand to go, and I'm at 250,000, which is great. Now, you don't get any benefit for having subscribers. You don't get any financial benefit. The thing when you have a lot of subscribers is when people see your tutorials pop up and they see how many subscribers you've got, they're more likely to come and have a look on your channel first, and it does help to build a really good group of followers as well. And if you click on the bell icon, then YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.